Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Saturday night. I put together a quick little video on MSTR weekly price movements. I was doing some research for somebody, and I got interested in kind of what happens on a weekly basis for MSTR. What's a big percentage weekly move? What's a small percentage weekly move? Something I'm always interested in. I'm just always kind of creating different charts. I'm always curious, like, oh, can I actually sell a covered call with very, very little risk just to generate income? I don't do that. Not my game, but I'm always curious as to, like, okay, what's like a no risk play? Obviously those don't exist, but I'm always looking into it. So let's hop into it. First we can go over, so I plotted all the weekly moves in terms of percentage. Like, I plotted the top 35 weekly moves, and then I organized them based on percentage gain. So here, for example, we've got MSTR. Since it's adopted a Bitcoin strategy, you can see all the weeks here during which there is a greater than 25% weekly move. So 25% I found to kind of be the bull market threshold. There was 1 week during this kind of bear cycle, or this sideways chop, but anything more than a 25% weekly move was pretty much reserved for when Bitcoin is going parabolic, or when the ETFs are approved and Bitcoin is going parabolic. So Bitcoin pretty much has to be going parabolic for these 25% weekly moves in MSTR historically. Not to say that won't continue. Not to say that might change in the future. Let's go to 15% weekly. So these are all the weeks with a greater than 15% weekly gain, and you can see this is all over the place. MSTR does 15% weekly gains all the time. We got a week here, 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 everywhere. So you got to be careful if you're out there selling calls. And a lot of people I know successfully roll the calls. And during times when the market kind of is moving sidewards, that could work. And it has worked for a lot of people. But you wouldn't want to be rolling calls through this gap up. Now let's look at greater than 10% weekly move. Lots of weeks. Did we see one last week? Looks like we saw one last week, greater than 10% weekly move. And finally, we've got the greater than 5% weekly move, which is a large majority of the weeks. And yeah, so something to think about if you're interested in selling covered calls is, I know a lot of people successfully do it. I'm not trying to, I know a lot of people successfully do it. I'm not trying to say you shouldn't. It's something I actually want to do to generate some income, but definitely something you should do with caution and understanding how MSTR is performed. Like, you can't, I think it'd be different. For me, it's very easy to be like, oh, MSTR, most weeks it's just sideways if it's not a bull market. But you look at the data and, like, that's not the case. Like, there are a significant amount of weeks in which it makes a greater than 5, 10, or even 15% move to the upside. So that's good for all of us who are long, and also something to think about if you're, selling calls or rolling calls. But something I thought I'd share. Thanks for watching, guys. Talk to you next time.